Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Useful Tips. Today I am discussing about PLSQL triggers. PLSQL triggers is very important topic in Oracle. Before that I created a video on triggers. Please, if you want anything you want about triggers, please refer my previous videos to know about the triggers of basic triggers. What is trigger? Why we will use trigger? All those things we will learn by using my previous videos. Okay friends, today I am discussing about PLSQL triggers. In that PLSQL triggers, I am discussing about types of triggers. There are mainly two types of triggers. I am discussing mainly two types of triggers. They are statement level trigger, row level trigger. After that, so many triggers are there. Exactly, there are 14 to 15 triggers are there, but we are commonly using this type of triggers in real time. That's why I am discussing only these few types of triggers. I am discussing. If you want anybody all 14 triggers, please comment me in the comment section. I will also a video on the triggers. And today I will discussing about statement level triggers, row level triggers, before triggers, after triggers, instead of triggers. These are the very important friends. Okay, today I am discussing about triggers. Triggers are most powerful concept in Oracle PLSQL. Why? Because we can enforce referential integrity by using triggers. All of you knew that what is referential integrity. If you want to know what is referential integrity, please comment me in comment section. I will definitely make a video about what is referential integrity. I think so all of you knew that what is referential integrity. If anybody chance could know, please comment me in comment section. Then I will definitely make a video in couple of days regarding referential integrity. Okay friends, by using triggers we can enforce referential integrity. That much of power triggers has. Okay friends, next we will go to next slide. Next, what is statement level trigger? Statement level trigger is a default trigger friends. We will remember this point. Statement level trigger is a default trigger. In statement level trigger body is execute only once for DML statements. DML statements means insert, update, delete. For every insert, every delete, every update, only once trigger body is execute. It is not each and every body, only once. How many DML statements are there, but it execute only once for a table, in a table. Then it is known as statement level trigger. Here basic syntax of statement level trigger is create or replace. Replace means if you want to replace some other trigger, if you want to replace, then you write replace, or else it is a optional. Create or replace trigger name is here trg. Before insert or update or delete on emp table. Before insert data, update data, delete data. Before means whenever we insert data, whenever we update data, whenever we delete data. This section before we will apply a trigger. Whenever we insert update, delete, insert before trigger. That's why trigger fights before you insert, update, delete on emp. Begin if to char sysdate, dy in Saturday Sunday. My aim is in this programming code, my aim is I could not want to any operations on Saturday and Sunday. That's why I using trigger, I using before level trigger, means before trigger here. I using before trigger. Why? Because whenever we insert data, trigger will fire. Okay, trigger will fire whenever insert, update, delete on EMP. Before we will insert data, we will update data, we will delete data. Okay, but here my condition is whenever Saturday and Sunday, whenever we insert Saturday and Sunday, then trigger will fire automatically. And you will get a message. The message is we cannot perform any operation on Saturday and Sunday. This is the program where I created trigger by restricting operations on Saturday and Sunday. This is the basic coding of program in PLSQL by using statement level trigger. Statement level trigger is a default trigger. Friends, is very important. Some interviewers may ask, what is the default trigger? Statement level trigger or row level trigger? At that time we will say statement level trigger is a default trigger, like that. This is the programming of statement level trigger. Next we will go to next slide. After that, row level trigger. Row level trigger body is execute each and every DML statements. How many DML statements is nothing like that. If you have a number of DML statements, then it will execute each and every DML statements. That's why we are using each row class in trigger specification. Each row class trigger specification. Trigger has two parts. Number one is here. Here there are two parts: trigger specification, trigger body. Begin block is trigger body. Before that, trigger specification. Here, what is the main thing here? Whenever trigger body is execute each and every DML statements, that's why we use for each row. If you use each row, then it will become row level trigger. If you not write each row class, then it will become statement level trigger. This is main thing here, friends. Please remember this. Whenever you use for each row class in trigger specification, then it will become row level trigger. Whenever you cannot write for each row class, then it will become statement level trigger. Are you clear? After that, here row level trigger, here data internally stored in two rollback segment qualifiers. Here two rollback data will store in two rollback segments: old data, new data. Whenever you entered new data, the old data will be separately stored in somewhere. That is old data. Whenever you enter new data, then it will store separately another part. Here these qualifiers are using. This is the qualifiers. There are two rollback segment qualifiers we are using in row level trigger. One is old qualifier, new qualifier. Old qualifier means old data, new qualifier means new data. These qualifiers are used in either trigger specification or trigger body. Before I said every trigger has trigger specification and trigger body. Okay, friends, these qualifiers may use either trigger specification or trigger body. Trigger specification and trigger body. Whenever we use trigger specification and trigger body. When we are using qualifiers in trigger body, whenever we use qualifiers in trigger body means begin block, that is the trigger body. Whenever we use qualifiers in begin block, we must use colon prefix in the qualifiers. Colon prefix in the qualifiers. Here I wrote basic syntax: colon old dot column name or colon new dot column name. This is the basic syntax whenever you enter new data into a table by using row level trigger. Okay, that qualifiers you are using, if you are using in trigger body, then you will get definitely use colon prefix of the column name or prefix of the qualifiers. If you use these qualifiers in trigger specification, then you don't need to write colon. Okay friends, whenever you use these qualifiers in trigger specification, trigger body, then definitely you use colon prefix of qualifiers or column name, whatever it is. Please remember this, friends, very important, friends. This is row level trigger. In row level trigger body is execute each and every DML statements. That's why we are using for each row class. If you forget each row class, then it will become a statement level trigger. Okay friends, beware of this. Here data internally stored in two rollback segments. That one is row old and new. Okay, old and new. These qualifiers whenever we use in trigger specification, we don't need to specify any colon prefix of the column name or qualifiers. Whenever we use these qualifiers in trigger body, at that time we must use colon prefix in the qualifiers or column name. Here syntax is there: colon old dot column name or colon new dot column name. This will go. Here I wrote some important points what I know. I think all of you knew these points. If you may not know these points, please refer this. It is very important points regarding triggers. What I know I mentioned here. If you have any point extra, then please comment me in comment section. I will also aware of that. After that we will exchange our knowledge. Okay friends, today here I have few important points I wrote here, what I know, what I experienced. In before triggers, trigger body is execute. Okay, trigger body is execute when before DML statements are affected into the database. Before DML statements means before insert, update, delete are affected into the database. Okay, are affected into database before triggers. I already told that before triggers, trigger body is execute when before DML statements are affected into the database. Before DML statement means before insert, update or delete. Okay, insert, update, delete. Don't confuse. Simply we will remember this. Before triggers, trigger body is execute. Before DML statements are affected into database. Simply. In after triggers, trigger body is execute when after DML statements are affected into the database. Means DML statements is affected in database. After that, trigger body is execute. After that, trigger body is execute. Whereas in before triggers, trigger body is execute before DML statements affected into the table database. These two are very important, friends. Please remember this. Don't confuse. After point is generally if you want to restrict invalid data. Okay, invalid data means I don't want to need any operations on Sunday or Saturday. Before I told that before slide, At the time definitely we will use before triggers only. Okay, we could not use after triggers. Whenever we want to restrict invalid data entry into the table, we are using always before triggers blindly. Remember this. Whenever you want to restrict invalid data entry, okay, then blindly will go to before triggers. This is one point. Whereas when you are performing operation on the one table, those operations are affected in the another table, then we are using after triggers. Here point is very good point, friends. Here if you want to delete a record in parent table, then it reflects to the child table. Automatically child table has removed a record respected to the parent table. This is the concept here. Whenever this concept, whenever you are preparing this concept, then you will definitely use after triggers. Okay, then you definitely use after triggers. Means whenever if you want to perform deleting a record in a parent table, then you want to delete automatically in child table also. Okay, this is your operation. In this operation you definitely use after triggers only. Okay, you definitely use after triggers. If you are performing operation on the one table, means parent table, those operations are affected to the another table, means child table. Okay, then we are using after triggers definitely. This is the another point, friends. After that, whenever we are inserting values into new qualifiers means whenever you insert new data into table. Okay, new data into table, already data is there in the table. After that, whenever you enter new data, then we will use must and use before trigger. Is another great point. We will use definitely before trigger, otherwise Oracle server returns error. Please remember this point, friends. If you about in triggers, how to know if any extra point is there, please mention in comment section. I will also know that extra point. Okay, friends, next we will go to next slide. Triggering event is also very important, friends. Triggering event means if you want to define multiple conditions, I want to give multiple conditions and multiple tables, then all database system use trigger events. That is a trigger events. If you want to define multiple conditions on multiple tables, then all database system use trigger events. Here I wrote some sample syntax. Syntax is if inserting 10. After that you write select statements. You write statements means if you want to inserting, okay, if you want to inserting, then you will get a result. After that, if you else if deleting, else if updating, like this statements are we will execute in the triggering event. This is a sample syntax, friends. Please remember this. After that, execution order in triggers. Execution order in triggers means how it executes. First before level trigger, after that before row level trigger, after that after row level trigger, after statement level trigger. This is the order execution order in triggers. Some of the interviews may ask execution order in triggers. Tell me execution of order in triggers. First of all, before statement level, before row level, after row level, after statement level. Please remember these 4 points when you go to interviews, friends. This is the concept uh, in types of triggers. I already created a video on triggers. On the video I said only what is trigger, why we will use trigger parts, and trigger parts explanation, all those things. I detailed explanation in that video. Today I explain only types of triggers and triggering events, and before triggers whatever it is, after that execution or in triggers. Okay friends, this is the triggering concept in PLSQL. If you want to know anything about uh, in triggers, please comment me in comment section. I will also to know what you want. Okay, if you have any points, then please comment me in comment section. I will also to know what I did not what I known. Okay friends, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please share this video to your friends and subscribe my channel for further updates. Please encouraging me for more updates. I will also to know for further knowledge. Thank you friends, thank you very much. Have a great day.